Terri Gillespie, and welcome to February's Top Picks. And let's get started. So, my first book is always my lead book, and this month's lead book is Connie Mann's The Liar's Treasure, and it's book 2 in the Speranza team novels. And the reason why she is my lead book, or her book is my lead book, is because I am going to be interviewing Connie. And that interview will come out March 4th. And there's a giveaway. So if you're not familiar with Connie, I can't wait to introduce you to her. But in the meantime, let me tell you a little bit about her. The lead book, The Liar's Treasure, book 2 in the Speranza team novels by Connie Mann. Tyndale House Publishing releases March 10th, so be sure and pre-order. Here's a little bit about Connie. Connie loves taking readers on heart-pounding, suspense-filled adventures featuring strong, determined women who fight for what they believe and for those that they love. When those stories take place in exciting locales and include a tempting hero, so much the better. Her Speranza team novels center around a modern-day secret society of resourceful, talented women who travel the globe helping other women, especially those trying to make the world a better place. Now, how can you not be excited about that book? So here's a little bit more, a synopsis of the book. Camille ignored rumors of the liar's treasure and her family's connection to it until someone put a target on her daughter's back. But when her teenage daughter unwittingly posts images of a mysterious, centuries-old diary, the past comes roaring back with lethal consequences. The social media posts chum the waters of treasure hunters and bring out the modern-day pirates. To keep her daughter safe, she enlists the help of her team, the Speranzas, an ancient secret international society ready to help women in need. The deeper they dig for the treasure, the more bodies are discovered. The team chases clues around the world and fights against time as Camille's daughter is held for ransom and the treasure is inches from their grasp. Will they be there on time? Okay, here's an excerpt. And I went ahead and took it from the prologue only because it gives a sense of how old the team is, how old the secret society is. Okay, so here's the prologue. Off the coast of Aviles, Spain, the year 1728. Sarah tried to keep her balance on the rocking wooden deck of the Bartholomew, head down in seeming defeat, watching through hanks of wet hair as the pirates pawed through the passengers' trunks, flinging belongings overboard. They were getting closer, ever closer, to the one thing she prayed they'd never find. Rain poured down in sheets and plastered her silk gown to her skin. The way the sailor's eyes flicked over her had her heart pounding for a new kind of fear. They were going to kill her if they found it. So that gave this 5 stars because the story made me want to jump right into the action and join the Speranza team's adventures. I felt that breathless suspense as the team raced against time to save a young girl from danger, and their camaraderie and loyalty to one another made me root for them even more. From New Orleans to Italy to Europe to pirate islands, these ladies are not only searching for treasure, they're fighting for justice and each other, making this an exhilarating and deeply engaging read. The Liar's Treasure is a propulsive, emotionally charged adventure of loyalty, forgiveness, and courage to face the truth, no matter how perilous the journey is. Book number 2, The Curious Inheritance of Blakely House by Joanna Davidson Politano, published by Revell. I have to say this up front. Joanna Davidson Politano is a dream weaver. She is a storyteller of the caliber of Roald Dahl, my opinion. Now here's her author bio. Joanna spends much of her time spinning tales that capture the colorful, exquisite details in ordinary lives. She is always on the hunt for random acts of kindness, people willing to share their deepest secrets with a stranger, and hidden stashes of sweets. She lives with her husband and their babies in a house in the woods near Lake Michigan and shares stories that move her. Well, they move me too, Joanna. So here is the synopsis. It is 1901 when clockmaker and brilliant tinker Sidney Forrester inherits Blakely House, the eclectic estate of an estranged uncle she's never met. The well-known but mysterious industrialist has left behind a stunning array of peculiar inventions and a couple of nephews intent on removing this interloper from the estate. Sidney finds and sometimes ally in the estate's butler, an ex-adventurer who ran aground on the island years ago. But when a mysterious man washes ashore with a stunning surprise that upsets everything, Sidney must prove she has inherited the late master's brilliance as well as his property, or someone else will. Okay. Here's an excerpt from chapter 1. Each chapter begins with a quote from a series of letters between the uncle and his love, Sophie. They call you odd, and perhaps you are, or perhaps the scope of normal is wider than any of us believed. Sophie's letters to Emmett. Grafton, Shropshire, England, the year 1901. It was a strangely calm morning in March, with no wind off the dales, when the woman I assumed to be my mother slipped into the shop. She hovered in the back like a wraith, peering at me through the dangling pendulums, gears, and clock springs, her veiled face wide-eyed and lovely. She pretended to peruse the merchandise, gaze slipping my direction from time to time, observing me, appraising, looking for the maker's mark she'd left on my soul. See what I mean? Okay, 5 stars. The Curious Inheritance of Blakely House delivers a fantastical story with some of the most beautiful prose of this decade. A historical mystery of gadgets and secrets and adventures that celebrates a heart of innovation and invention. I found myself completely immersed in the world of Blakely House, eagerly turning pages to uncover each new secret. This emotional journey and inventive storytelling make the book unforgettable. Book 3, A Deeper Well, The Story of the Woman at the Well by Eileen Smith, Revell Publishing. Okay, if you've watched my shows for any amount of time, you know how I feel about Jill Smith. She is an excellent writer of biblical fiction. If you're not familiar with her, here's a little bit about her. Jill Eileen Smith is a best-selling, award-winning author of the Wives of King David series, the Wives of the Patriarchs, the Daughters of the Promised Land, Heart of the King, Star of Persia, Miriam's Song, The Prince and the Prodigal, Daughter of Eden, and The Ark and the Dove. Her research has taken her from Bible to Israel. She enjoys learning how women lived in Bible times. So here's a synopsis of A Deeper Well. In ancient Samaria, Soon after Nessa is of marriageable age, her father gives her to a wealthy, older, widowed friend, capitalizing on her beauty to bring in the highest bride price he can find. Nessa is devastated, as she had begged to marry Lavie, who returned her love and saw in her more than her appearance. Nessa's betrothal leads to Lavie's departure, compounding her grief. Nessa tries to accept her fate, but after only a year of marriage, her husband dies. She is sent back to her father, who quickly finds a young man who wants to marry the most beautiful woman in Sichar. Misfortune follows Nessa as she is passed from one marriage to the next until she meets an unusual Jewish rabbi at the town's well one afternoon, and her life is forever changed. Okay, excerpt. This is from the prologue. I'll never forget the first time I met him. He sat on a grassy knoll near Jacob's well, eyes closed. He wore an undyed mantle over his long, plain tunic with his blue and white tzitzit visibly hanging below his knees. A Jew. What was he doing here? I couldn't tell if he was sleeping or praying, but the closer I came, the wearier he looked. This is a 5-star because Jill Eileen Smith's meticulous commitment to biblical accuracy shines in this latest release. By weaving together cultural context and storytelling, she delivers a powerful narrative about abuse and redemption, a transformation only made possible when the Redeemer intervenes. Smith crafts a believable backstory that challenges and expands our assumptions about the woman at the well, offering readers new insights into her experiences. Book 4, Deadly Currents, Hidden Bay, book number 3, by Elizabeth Goddard, published by Revell. Okay, Elizabeth Goddard is one of my go-to. She is one of my go-tos for romantic suspense and thrilling romantic suspense. So if you're not familiar with Elizabeth Goddard and you love romantic suspense or suspense and mystery, you have to know about Elizabeth. So here's a little bit about her. Elizabeth Goddard is the Publishers Weekly, ECPA, and USA Today best-selling and award-winning author of over 60 books, including the Missing in Alaska and Rocky Mountain Courage series. Her books have sold 1.5 million copies. She is a Christie Award, Carol Award, and Reader's Choice Award winner, and a Daphne du Maurier Award and Holt Medallion finalist. When she's not writing, she loves spending time with her family, traveling to find inspiration for her next book, and serving with her husband in ministry. So here's a little bit about this book. Investigative journalist Cressida arrives in the stormy, enigmatic Hidden Bay to finish her late father's manuscript about shipwrecks, a task that quickly turns perilous. As she delves into the legend of the ghost ship Spectre's Bounty, a single clue in her father's journal pulls her into a secretive world where history refuses to stay buried. Cressida soon faces unsettling sabotage, eerie supernatural events that all seem connected to the haunted vessel. County Detective Braden must shield Cressida from growing threats, or it could have repercussions for his niece. Together, Cressida and Braden find themselves navigating not only treacherous storm-lashed waters, but also a tangled web of historical secrets, myths, and revenge. As the line between myth and reality blurs, they must race against time to uncover the truth before the mysteries of the past destroy their future. Here's the excerpt from Chapter 1. The sea never gives back what it claims. Her father's voice echoed through her thoughts, gritty and sharp, like the wind whipping around her and the salt cutting into her cheeks early on this Monday morning. Cressida Valentine stepped back inside the wheelhouse where Captain Everett Salty Malloy stood at the helm of the Mariner's Gambit, an older-than-time fishing trawler. Next to Malloy, she curled her fingers around the binoculars and peered at the dense marine fog chasing them along the Washington coast. Uneasiness pressed down on her as she scanned the mist-veiled horizon. Her father had spent his life chasing secrets buried in waters too deep and too dark to trust. And here I am, chasing them too. 5 stars. Simply said, Elizabeth Goddard knows how to write romantic, moody suspense with organic faith threads that challenge and cause the reader to think. Book 5, Last to Fall. Book 3 in the Gossamer Falls series by Lynn H. Blackburn. Published by Revell, and it releases March 3rd. So pre-order. So Lynn Blackburn is another one of my go-tos. And if you haven't heard of Lynn Blackburn, I would be surprised. But here's a little bit about her. Lynn H. Blackburn loves writing romantic suspense because her childhood fantasy was to become a spy. But her grown-up reality is that she's a huge chicken and would have been caught on her first mission. Woman after my own heart. She prefers to live vicariously through her characters and loves putting them into all kinds of terrible situations while she's sitting at home, safe and sound, in her pajamas. Yes. Now, one of the really great things about the last couple of series that Lynn has written, they revolve around 2 families. And it just kind of expands into different stories and different series. So I've been waiting for Bronwyn and Mo's story, and it's great because this book has some insights into their backstory, which is fascinating. So here's a synopsis. Bronwyn Pierce has poured everything into the Haven, her family's exclusive mountain resort in Gossamer Falls. But when financial discrepancies surface and the numbers suggest something far darker than simple mismanagement, she's forced to call on the one person with the skills to help her, Mo Quinn, a former Army intelligence officer, her first love, and the last person she ever wanted to trust again. Mo Quinn has spent years avoiding the woman he once loved and the secrets that tore them apart. But when Bronwyn calls, he can't walk away, especially when it's clear someone wants her gone for good. As they dig deeper into the treacherous motives behind the blackmail scheme, their proximity reignites long buried feelings neither of them is ready to face. And when the evidence points to an unexpected culprit, Mo faces an impossible choice. Trust the proof in front of him or trust his heart. Okay, here's the excerpt, chapter 1, and this is present day. Whoever said blood was thicker than water hadn't known about the Pierce family. Bronwyn Pierce could think of several people she could trust more than her own family, and one of them despised her. But he was the one she needed now. He would come. She knew it in a place deep in her core, despite the pain that they'd inflicted on each other for the past 17 years. He would come. This is so messed up. She muttered the words into the silence of her office, then clamped her mouth shut. For all she knew, someone was listening. 5 stars. Blackburn consistently delivers a masterful blend of mystery, suspense, romance, and faith that keeps me coming back. In Last of All, the moment Bronwyn uncovers a shocking betrayal hidden within the Haven's financial records, that hooked me. Moe's journey from guarded ex-Army intelligence officer to someone willing to confront old wounds felt deeply authentic and made me root for him throughout. Blackburn stands out from other authors by seamlessly weaving emotional depth and faith into the heart of her suspenseful stories, making her characters feel real and their challenges relatable. So that's it for February's top picks. I hope there are some interesting books for you in this grouping. And be sure and check the description section for where to buy the books and just more information. I can't wait to tell you about next month's top picks. I've already started reading and they're great. So until next month, God bless and keep reading.